Oh, I'm muted, everybody. What's up, everybody? How is it going? It's me, Jum Jumington, former CEO of Jumington Dynamics, broadcasting live from the Jumington Dynamics auxiliary hazardous material storage facility somewhere in the world. How is it going? What's up, Silas? How you doing? How you been? Hopefully you've been well. Things are pretty crazy around here lately. I won't spend too much time on that, but I was able to slip some time away today, and thankfully my brother is filling in for me at the moment. He's actually doing some cooking, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got up on plate. I'm gonna get some meal time on here. Hope you're doing well mentally. Oh, I'm getting by. It's been stressful. It's been stressful. What's up, Speed? Delectable protein slurry. Yes. What's up, Judd? How you doing? Welcome in. Got a nice close up of my delicious protein slurry. If you're ever curious what the slurry looks like, here you go. It's nice little puck. I didn't bother to fill the whole can. That way I can, if I wanted to, I could have less or more. Just overflowing with the slurry. Real delicious looking. It's kind of like steak tartare. It's very salty. I just want to get in there with that. You want to like it meat popsicle. It is kind of like that. It is very similar in that we didn't really make it with taste in mind. So it's just something I've had to learn to live with, but I need it to live. I must consume this in order to continue to function. So I do go through quite a bit of it. Not pictured as the stacks of empty cans everywhere. Let's get some music going. It's been a while. I don't think I've done a Blender stream since like February. I think was the last one I saw. I may have missed one because sometimes I like I'll do a Blender stream and I'm just like, I don't like this. I just private that one. The X-Files one. Oh yeah, Mark Snow did die. I saw that. Let's play a little Y-Files on Mark Snow. Tragic. Another tragic loss. Big fan of Mark Snow's music. Big fan of his work. I had been watching X-Files a while ago, but I finished through all of it, and I finished watching the last new season they put out. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that went somewhere. It did something. It really puts like a nice dot of finality on some things, which is good. Everything's got to end sooner or later. I can't expect them to keep going with that forever. So yeah, things have been pretty hectic here. Every day is a little bit different. That's why I haven't been around. It's hard to plan things out, and I hate to schedule streams just to like have something come up at the last minute and have to cancel it. So, but I'm gonna try and schedule some streams for next week. I got a whole host of games that I want to get into, but I just want to do some nice relaxing Blender stuff tonight. I don't have a real long time, so probably only be like an hour or two, probably. I don't want to impose upon my brother too much. He's been helping me out quite a bit with all of this. Hopefully things get a bit less hectic. Yeah, you know, it really varies. It's the kind of thing where like every day is just a little bit different. Some days are better than others, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and it requires a lot of attention. So it's hard to get back to the stream closet here. Hard to get back to the facility. And when I'm not around, I just get really anxious about how things are going. But I've gotten a little bit better about that. So, what's up, Jay Money? How's it going? Welcome. So, hey, what's up, Buttercast? Welcome in. How you doing? So that is just the way it's going to be for a little while, but I'm going to try and get things scheduled, just with the caveat that like anything's subject to change, up to the stream time. You know, things can happen, but it's more or less stable. It's not really a great situation, but it's more or less stable where things are at now. Take some time to yourself. Yeah, I've been able to get a little bit of time. You know, my brother took some time off of work to help out, and you know, my stepdad's around too, but he had a trip he had to go to on this weekend, so it was a little bit more tied up with that, which is fine. He's got to get a break too. It's the same for all of us. We all got to be able to have, you know, a release from this. But you know, as the one person in this group that is not like actively employed, because being in the bankruptcy court does not count. I'm the one with the time, so a lot of stuff comes to me, and I'm happy to have that time. That's how I tried to arrange my life, so that not with this specifically in mind, but just so that I could be available. I feel very, very fortunate in the situation that I'm in, that I have the luxury of doing that, because not everybody does. I had the luxury of walking away from a lot of things, and just kind of coasting for a while, because like it just hit me one day after a break from my last office job. I came back and it was like, you know, the money here is pretty good, but like my time is needed more. And I was able to step away from that so I could be available to help out with things and have more time and availability for that without driving myself to the brink of madness with that. And it's worked out for me too, because I had time to chase after all this stuff, which is something I always wanted to do. Well, maybe not always, but like for a long time wanted to do. So, but I do get, you know, plenty of time. Unfortunately, just because like the schedule gets it's so up in the air that sometimes it starts getting like much later in the night before I get free. And I'm like, I could stream something tonight, but I'm just like tired. I just want to veg out and like play through something. I played a game that I want to talk about briefly, or that I recommend. Your house. Is it your house? Your home. I think it's your house. Let me find it and I can post a link for it. Your House. It was a very short game. I actually opened it up with the intention to just test it out for streaming. I ended up playing through the whole thing. I ended up playing the whole thing. I think I got the link here. I mentioned it in Discord. I'll post the link here. It's really good. It was really good. It was short and sweet. A neat little puzzle narrative game where you have inherited, well, you're given a key to this house. You don't really know what the story is, and the whole thing is just like puzzles on puzzles on puzzles. You watch X-Files movies? I did. It took me a while to see the last one that came out. What is that? The Truth Is Out There? I always get it mixed up which one is which. I liked the second one better because I'm a much bigger fan of the Monster of the Week stuff, and the second one was like a straight up like Monster of the Week story. It had more going on than that, but like I really loved it. The first movie I was excited about. Yeah, Your House was really good. It was really good, and I like in a conundrum where like I want to talk it up. I want people to check it out. I don't want to stream it. Maybe later I'll stream it, but I don't want to stream it till I've forgotten the solution to the puzzles, because it'd be kind of funny to stream it now and be like, having just done it, like here's all the solutions that I already had here. Let's see where the films. X-Files. I Want to Believe. Yeah, I like that one. That was a weird story. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that one. Other games that recently released that I want to check out. I may pop one or both of them open before I end stream tonight. The Drifter, which has been on my wish list for a while, is a neat another throwback point and click adventure game that there had a lot of buzz, and it looks really cool, and I really want to check that out. So that released very recently. And then RoboCop RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business is out. So of course I immediately bought it, but I haven't opened it up yet because I loved that RoboCop game. I can't recommend it enough. I can't recommend it enough. It was so much fun just blasting people. So I'm really excited to see the Unfinished Business. But yeah, Drifter I am absolutely gonna play. I will probably, depending on how times line up, I'll probably start that this week with the Drifter, and then I'll come back for RoboCop. I might do RoboCop this week too. 2 new games on a retro channel. Well, they're retro themed. But I'm looking forward to those. Okay, I think I looped this once. I want to go back to my blender. My blender mix. Rest in peace, Mark Snow. I gave us some fine tunes there. What else did Mark Snow work on? I know he's known for other stuff. Or I don't leave one of these open. Point and clicks are pretty retro, even if released new. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Not in a bad way, but like a dated kind of interface for stuff. But I still think it's got a lot of legs on it. But that's just me. I spend most of my time playing old games or new games that look like they're old games. But I love seeing like new takes on that stuff, because nowadays you don't really have the graphic limitations. So it's interesting to see people like artificially constrain themselves for that and how far they go with that. You know me, my adventure game BS. Oh yeah, I love it. I love a good adventure game. I have a lot of adventure games. There's other ones that I want to try and get to before the year's out. Was it the Crimson Diamond? Was another one that came out last year, around this time last year. The Crimson Diamond. I did pick that up, and I haven't gotten to play it yet. And that's also got like a real throwback art style. I was excited about that. The Case of the Golden Idol. I've had for a while too. That one's from 2022, so that one's even further. So I've got those out there, and I want to scope those out as well. So I'll probably go through that. I did say I wanted to do Deja Vu for the NES. I may push that back a little bit. just because the Drifter came out, and I'm like, get it while it's hot. I don't really worry about trying to capture like that kind of like, I gotta play the new games because that's where people are gonna look. But more so just the sooner I play the game, the less anxious I'll feel about it being in my backlog for 7 years. Like I gotta get better about playing like the new games when I get them, instead of just letting them build up, because then I'm just like compulsively buying games that I may never play. But I will get to them eventually. But yeah, I do want it, so I'm gonna supersede the Deja Vu. We'll just call that like we'll just get a do-over on that. Yeah, the past couple of weeks have been a mess, an absolute mess. I was gonna start East today, East Book 1 and 2, but I really didn't think I had enough time to really dig into it. It's not a super long game. I want to do some of this stuff. What was I gonna look something up here? I don't remember what it was. I think I was just looking for another game title, but I had it. Oh yeah, Mark Snow. I want to see. Talk about that real quick while I'm on the topic. 78. It's not that old. Heart to Heart, Smallville. Smallville. I remember that. What's the name on that? And Blue Bloods. I'm not a huge fan of Blue Bloods. There's parts of it I like, but Blue Bloods, I don't know if this is going to offend anybody. Blue Bloods is like, it's like a lot of cop shows that's just like, this is real propaganda hour here. Like, I enjoy some of the plot of it, but there's a lot of stuff that comes in there that's just like, cops are overall good and the system generally works. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I agree about that. I do like a good cop drama, but like, never felt that about it. Never felt like Law and Order was like trust in the justice system as much as this stuff's all screwed up. And I watched like Blue Bloods, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it was Blue Bloods. I think I don't. This is like tied in my mind with this when I think about shows that are like straight like propaganda stuff that's like way too positive of an outlook. I get that it makes better TV, and I don't want to be like super doomer, but like, tell it like it is more. But like, it just reminds me of along the same vein of like CSI shows, or not really CSI. Some of like CSI New York got this way, were like shows that were like ripped from the headlines, and I'd see stuff like 3D printed guns are like a super problem, and I'm like, are they? I don't know if it's that big of an issue, but a lot of it just seemed like, playing on people's fears that like, you're going to buy this 3D printer online and you're going to use it to manufacture firearms. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess you could. You could also just like spend a couple bucks at a hardware store and make a zip gun out of some pipes. I'm not going to go into that, but like, people have done it. People will do it. Which isn't to say that like there's not some issues there, but I think it's overblown. SVU did that. Yeah, SVU was great for like SVU. I could just kind of laugh at when they're like ripped from the headlines, and it was just like nonsense stuff. Jum read the Anarchist Cookbook. I read the Anarchist Cookbook when I was in high school, and I was a teenage edgelord, and I read that. But I also read a lot of it and was like, this shit is bullshit. This ain't real. Some of it is like useful, but there's a lot in that thing that is just like, nah, man, that wouldn't work. What's up, Joshua? How's it going? Joshua has been posting some art updates in the Discord. Very excited about his swamp scene. Some of his characters working on. It's very cool. I saw your video on a Mega Man. I really liked that. It was very good. On your work break. Oh, well, thank you for spending some of your work break here with us. Always appreciated. All right. Well, let's get down to the brass tacks here. So, as you may know, if you watch me for a while, we are here in the 3D render in Blender, my 3D render of my little streaming area, my streaming closet. Very, very close to the real thing. probably a little bit larger. My walls are a little bit more closed in than this. A little bit tighter on space. But I like to produce the games that I have finished or played. Traditionally, it's when I finished it, but kind of breaking that. So you mean, yeah, it's worse. It's just a little bit smaller. It's very space confined. When I look at this, because I made a lot of this to scale based on the measurements of the actual space where I'm doing this. And I think this desk is still accurate, but I also changed how I handled the scale on stuff and realized some stuff was wrong. I do not have any gap in the wall here, so this is a little bit wider. The actual space, this desk is like butted right up against the wall. There's enough space to feed some wires on the other side here, but like I'm pretty cramped in here. I could not get my chair out of here without trying to lift it and like finagle it and like Tetris it out. It's pretty wild. Very claustrophobic for you. I am very comfortable in enclosed spaces. Not to the point where I'd say what is the opposite of claustrophobia? Agoraphobia? I definitely wouldn't put it that way, but I feel very relaxed in tightly enclosed spaces. I once slept inside of a cabinet, which was basically coffin sized. It was, I think, the most comfortable night's sleep I've ever had. Though I'm surprised I didn't suffocate, but I used to spend a lot of time climbing around in ceilings. Yeah, so I had to visit a friend in college. Oh, I was like 22 at the time. I went to visit a friend in college, and the house they were renting, they're like, you can sleep on the couch, or, and I think they said this jokingly, there's this like storage cubby that is big enough for you to fit in above this entryway here. And there's even like a little ladder here. And I'm like, that sounds good. And they're like, oh, well, all right. So that's where I slept. I slept in like a storage cabinet, like a storage place, like a little enclosed shelf space above the doorway. And I just kind of climbed it. It's kind of like a picture, like a Japanese like capsule hotel. That's what it was like. Man, I slept like a log. That was like super comfortable. And I had the added bonus of jumping out of there the next day and unintentionally, but delightfully scaring the crap out of somebody who didn't know I was there. Can you imagine if you walk into a place and someone just like hops out of a cabinet like, hey, good morning. Both small places, relaxing open spaces are freeing. Don't like crowded places though, stressful. I don't like if it's like people, if I'm like packed like a sardine, like in a can of sardines with other people, that's like I'm not all hype on that, but like at one point I had a dog and we were crating him, and we had just gotten him and he was kind of nervous, so I spent a lot of time hanging out in his cage with him, and I actually fell asleep a couple times. We got along great, me and that dog. He was my best bud, and I think a lot of it's because when we first brought him back and he was real nervous, like I climbed into his cage and like fell asleep next to him. The roommates were not pleased. I'm in there, seeing my feet dangling out. They're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Huh? No, yeah, it was just real comfy. It's just real cozy." But yeah, I wish that I had that. I wish I had. If this is one of the beautiful advantages of the single life, is that I can just sleep wherever I want, right? I can go sleep on the couch. I could sleep in the space between the two layers of cinder block in this building, standing up like a horse if I need to. I wish I had a place that had that same kind of storage, because I would sleep there every night. I still dream about that. I still dream about that when I go to sleep at night. I'm like, oh man, that was so good. I'm not at this stage in my life where I'm like, maybe I should just buy a coffin and be like goth and just sleep in a coffin. But like, I think that might be going a little bit too far. Plus the coffin takes up a lot of space. Vampire Jum. I do dislike the sunlight. It all tracks. It all fits. It all stacks up. Maybe for Halloween. What's funny you mentioned that. That's one of the outfits that I'm working on trying to get done if I can find time for Halloween is like a vampire outfit. I can spoil that. I'm very excited about it. The cyber vampire. I always find like the idea of cyber vampires really interesting because they typically have like, I know there's lots of media that's tackled this, that there's like because vampires like regenerate, like how do you handle cybernetic implants when they just like reject it constantly? It's a good question. How do you provide like mechanical implants for someone who can regenerate? Would they just grow around it, where the body just like push it out? I've seen some media where like things that can regenerate will like use that ability to like implant blades and stuff in them, which I love that. Anytime someone takes an ability like regeneration and like takes a real interesting spin on it, like I could just cut myself open and shove like a gun in there and my body will heal around it and I'll be fine. I can just cut myself open and take it out later. It's like, man, that's brutal, but that's a smart use of the powers. I mean, then nanobites that can work with the cells. Yeah, you gotta have something like that. You gotta have something going on that like tells your vampire body like, or if you have like really strong control of your body at a cellular level, which some media has that, it can be pretty nuts. All right, so I like to put my games here. I like to make my little game models, and I gotta fill in some spots here that I haven't done. At this point, it's fairly easy because I've got cases for most of these systems that I would be playing stuff on. And the beauty is that once I've gotten a case, like one of these Switch cases, if I need to add a new Switch game, I can just duplicate this object and then create a new duplicate of the material that the label sits in, and then just drop the new image there. As long as it's the same dimensions, it goes buttery smooth. Times I run into problems are when I need a new system like the PS3. The Xbox was a little bit different because it's got that translucent green. I got to make those new ones. I played the Note, which is a PAL only release, and PAL cases are slightly different. It's not entirely accurate. I think it's a little bit more rounded on the edge there, and I didn't put the PlayStation logo. Sometimes they had it, sometimes they didn't, but some of them had like a PlayStation logo like embossed into it. But they're a little bit thicker, which is weird because it's still just a CD case. But I've got most of these now. I've got a double disc case that's come up, PC cases, that's PC Engine. That's a Splatterhouse. Some of these you won't see because it's not the full rendering. Let's see if this breaks something here. And choke out my my VRAM if I tell it to render this. So recording your collection on this, more or less. They're basically like, I thought it was a neat idea that instead of just filling in the background with a bunch of random junk, or just putting like every game I have in there, because they're generally not all in here. They're spread all over the place because I have just a lot. In actuality, most of the shelves that are behind me are Blu-rays, because I tend to just like rip all of my games and then load them from ODEs. I don't actually keep most of them around here. I have them stored elsewhere. But I do have some games in here. But I like to put these up as I play them, because then I can always look back on that background and it gives me like a sense of progress. don't wanna do it. Okay, so the reason you can't see what's behind this through this is that it's using a glass shader, which I always question. Like, I've done it for a while. I'm like, I'm not sure how these work. I think particularly on the top, the reflectiveness of it is a little too much. It's too mirror-like. Which I may have been meaning at the Oban Star Racers Blu-ray. Yeah, physical media is where it's at. And especially if you're like a big anime fan, this is... I started a lot of my Blu-ray collecting, got me fired up again because there's so many anime Blu-rays that just like vanish. Like there's some rights issue, something happens, it was only limited release, and then it's just gone. This happened recently, and I'm still waiting to see what happens with this. I haven't seen an update. With Gundam, since Crunchyroll bought Right Stuff, and Right Stuff was the US distributor for Gundam, all of the Gundam Blu-rays have gone out of print, and no one's got any real info if they're going to bring them back. Well, I hadn't completed my Gundam collection, and I'm looking at them, and it's like, oh yeah, the set's out of print. You can get it on eBay for $300. I'm like, no, no, I will not buy an aftermarket release for $300 for like a $40 Blu-ray set. Although I think they were closer to 70, which is probably why I didn't just gobble them all up immediately. I just have to live with that. You can't catch everything, and I try real hard not to like outspend myself just on the FOMO. But like, there are a lot of series that like I didn't realize it was limited until it was gone, and then it's like, well, that's it. That's it. Let's go to panel Anime Expo. Maybe we'll get news then. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. Well, Gundam had like, the Gunpla was like fairly popular in the US, but for whatever reason, like the series are like always way up in the air. Oh, the San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. Well, there's like the Gundam Wing anniversaries coming up here. I see a bunch of product tie-ins with that. So I'm hoping that like a lot of the speculation people had, but they couldn't get confirmation from Crunchyroll, was that they were just letting anything that had the Right Stuff branding go out of print, and then they're going to re-release it with Crunchyroll branding. But like nobody from Crunchyroll could confirm this. So like, I don't know what's going on with that. So I'm just like kicking myself. But also like there's some stuff that's like they have volume 2 but not volume 1. I'm like, do I want to buy volume 2 and then see if they release something else? I don't want another the situation I had with Brazil, where I bought the Brazil Criterion collection, and then somebody borrowed the movie. I never got it back, but I have like the bonus features disc, and I could replace it with the Blu-ray version that has different bonus features. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna have this like half a collection here forever. 30th anniversary, give me a ton of merch. Oh yeah, I love Gundam Wing. I love all the Gundam series thus far, but I really enjoyed Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing was like one of the big ones that hit on the US because a lot of it hadn't really come over. Like the models were here, but I don't think a lot of the series really came to the US until after the 2000s. I remember when Cartoon Network was running in the Toonami, they were running the original Gundam series, and then 9/11 happened and they took it down because they're like, maybe now is not the best time to do like war media. I'm like, no, now is the best time because it's very anti-war. G Gundam, oh, I love G Gundam. G Gundam was so weird and crazy. Like OG Gundam, I tried Zeta, but like didn't like it as much. Yeah, I think Double Zeta was a little bit better, and I think that they get better towards the end. But that's also like they get a lot more grim towards the end. But you can kind of just skip that and go to Char's counterattack, and like those people are just like not mentioned. It's like in comic books where they try to like retire, like we're gonna retire Hal Jordan, now Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern. Like, yeah, he's pretty popular, but eventually the people are gonna just bring back Hal Jordan. So I felt with the Gundam Zeta and Double Zeta, where like it's not about Amano anymore. It's not about Amaro Ray. It's all right. It's not about Amaro Ray anymore. There's new characters. And then eventually like, okay, we'll bring back Amaro Ray. But it's not about Char anymore. Okay, well, we're gonna bring back Char. It's about Char again. We're just back to that. Depression Tomino strikes again. Yeah. Have you ever seen Ideon? Space Runaway Ideon? That is grim. It has an interestingly like weirdly uplifting ending, but only after all of the worst things happen. That is some very brutal deaths in it. Bring back Sally, you cowards. She's always kind of there, because she even appeared in like Gundam Unicorn, where they're like new type ghosts, like Force ghosts. They're one with the universe. What's better than Zeta? Double Zeta. Yeah. I love those. I love those series. I love like the weird interconnects to it. I like Turn A Gundam was good too. That was very weird. We do something with her. They might. I mean, they got the what is the new Gundam? Is that actually like in the States now? I don't know how it's pronounced. I heard someone call it G-Quacks. I was like, I guess that's it. Sailor's gone. I don't know. No, you know what? I'm thinking of Lala Soon. I'm mixing up the characters. No, like they didn't do anything. I think she appears in somewhat, or is at least mentioned in Zeta or Double Zeta. But you're right. They don't really. She's just kind of out there. I wonder if she shows up in any of the Hathaway's Flash stuff. Although I don't know where they're going with that, because the relationship with Amaro wasn't going that well. Yeah. Well, and some of that, like the original novel that Gundam was based off of, like Amaro dies. Like he just gets killed in some random battle, I think before the Aboku fight. It may be at that one, but he dies before like the end of the war. And then they had to kind of like rewrite that, like, oh wait, I guess people want it. Blunder with the others. What's up, Headmo? How's it going? So the arc wasn't all that fleshed out. Falling out or something. Revia went to Africa or something. Yeah. I would like to see more, but that's you know, I'm guilty of that too. I want to see like the classic characters. I want to see classic characters come back. So like the G-Quacks, I don't know how it's pronounced. Is G-Quacks like it? The actual name? It's also set in Universal Century, but I think it's an alternate timeline, but it does feature a lot of the characters, at least in the lead up to it. Is this out? Is this like streaming anywhere? I liked The Witch from Mercury, but it was very different. Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime. I see. Episode 1. How many episodes? I don't like that. Amazon Prime rubs me the wrong way now. Ever since they're like, we're running ads now, unless you want to pay more. No thanks. G-Quacks. Yeah. That's the only like pronunciation I've heard, and it was like they're kind of joking, but I'm not sure if they're joking about that. Starship Troopers is Little One. We call this unit Luna 2. It's completely different. It's completely different. I always get mixed up when someone mentions like Minovsky particles, when there's like Minovsky particles that appear in other fiction. And every single time I see Minovsky particles come up somewhere that isn't in Gundam, I have to go look it up again to remind myself that it was something that was made up for Gundam and it's not a real thing. And that's a Gundam reference. Because I'll see it come up in other sci-fi and it's like, wait, is that real? Wait, I'll just forget. I'm like, no, it's just a Gundam thing. Thinking about Gundam novelizations is against my will. I don't blame you. There's something funny about like when the media based on the original work gets more popular. Because I think The Witcher is like this. I think the games diverge from the novels a bit to the point that people are like, no, actually, I prefer the game story. Says Pew Lockett, what happens to Kiki and 8th MS team? What is a Kiki and 8th MS Team? Oh, it's been a while since I saw that one. I remember 8th MS Team, like, Toonami didn't, for whatever reason, the original run, I don't believe they ran, like, the actual last episode, which, like, did they just, like, leave you hanging, like, did they live? Did they die? What's going on? And there's, like, a whole extra episode beyond that. What did they do with Kiki? Oh, I gotta look this up. Teenager in a War. Yeah. I see the picture I see now. Do I have that? I think I picked that up. I really like that series. Gunbuster? That's not Gundam. That's my Gundam show bad. Yep. Yep, I do have 8th MS Team. Okay, just making sure. do. Uh-huh. Oh no, this is a novelization. Oh, okay. Oh no. Oh God, no. Well, again, this is a novelization. Oh boy. You know what? I should have known. I don't even need to look that up. I could have just guessed. It's Tamino. Like, what's an awful thing that could happen to a person? There you go. You did try to warn me. It's like my curiosity got the better of me. Look serious, some non-Yuri scene going on. See, the games diverge a lot. Yeah. But most of what I get from the fandom is like, the games are better. The games are better. We'll stick with the games. We see that a lot in like the comic book stuff where the comic book movies change things and then they retcon that stuff back in. Like, so Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, prior to the movies, there was a series, The Ultimates, which was an alternate reality version of the Avengers. And in that, they had explicit permission from Samuel L. Jackson to use his likeness for their universe's version of Nick Fury. After the movies, where they cast Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, instead of an old white guy, which honestly, I thought was cool, because I like the Ultimates, and I'm like, yeah, this is a good like mix. Like, you can change it up, and he plays the role really, really well. The Ultimates was peak. The original series, I think it went off the rails as it went on, but like the first run was like really solid. They retconned it in where like there's a Nick Fury Jr. in the regular Marvel continuity that is the son of Nick Fury that is also made to look like Samuel L. Jackson. So like now the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury is like in regular Marvel continuity, which I think is funny. But that's happened with all of them. They did it with the X-Men movies where they would like retcon characters to match up the changes they made with the movie. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Lester had Galactica turn golden and join the team. Yeah, that's it. I remember like, was that the second or third like series of it that I was just like, I don't know about this. I don't know where all that stuff lies now. It's been a long time. I'm more or less like completely quit comic books when I stopped working in a comic book store. And I would kind of keep up because I still had friends who worked there and they'd tell me what was going on, but I had stopped buying comics. And occasionally I would get the itch and I would go look up Wikipedia to see what was going on. And I always left like, what? They did what now? They did what? Galactus? Yeah, I thought that's what he meant. Went to the total outside, met eternity. It's so strange. It's so strange. I know there was like some story with like the ultimate Reed Richards becoming like this mega reality spanning supervillain with a big head, a big tube head. Hey, chat, let me ask you something. This may seem out of nowhere, and it is. If you were, imagine it's a hot, sunny day, like blazing hot sun, and you're in a store. Let's say you're grocery shopping, and you come out to the parking lot, and you find like a sausage, like sizzling on the hood of your car. Like someone has been cooking a sausage on your car and just left it for you, right? How would you feel about that? Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying I would do this, and I'm certainly not saying I have done this. I'm just asking, how would you feel if you walked out and found like a sausage? Could be like a kielbasa sausage, a breakfast sausage, take your pick. Just kind of sizzling on the hot metal hood of your car in the hot sun. I mean, would you eat that sausage? Would you try it a little bit? Would you trust it at all? Would you just kind of sweep it away and hope to forget about it? It's one step up from the street Oreo, because it's not on the street, it's on your car. You know where your car's been, right? You don't know where that road's been, but you know where your car's been, so you can judge the relative cleanliness of your car. I wouldn't eat it. I don't have a car. Well, yeah, this presumes that you have a car, that you know where the car has been. If you don't have a car, then I guess it would just be on the street, and I definitely wouldn't advise that. If it's just like we put this thing on, like we just put it on the sidewalk and it's just been sitting there smoldering. The dirty car. Is it audibly? It is audibly sizzling. It is actively like sizzling and cooking as you approach. Go back to my shift. Take care. All right, Joshua. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's good to see you. To catch you again in the future. And everyone, make sure you check out Joshua's channel as well. Let me post that on there and put some good stuff out there. Not that. How do I get to this? How do I go to here? Is that? Am I wrong? No, this is the same person, right? No. Maybe? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll dig into that later. I wonder if I'm just confused. I could be confused. I'm often confused. I'd try it. I think I would try it. I think I would try a little bit of it. I don't think I'd eat the whole thing, but I'd sample it. I would give it a shot. I'd give it a shot. I don't wonder if I'm mixing two people up here. Well, I'll come back to that later. I was talking to my brother about this today. It's a topic that comes up a lot between us. I will get to actually working on something here. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with. I do enjoy just talking, but I do want to get some stuff done, so we're not just randomly staring at the stack of games all night. But my brother and I were talking about, a problem that comes up a lot with our father, that he frequently asks me to pick up things from the store that he never eats. And one of those things is sausages, a kielbasa sausage. And they have like a pretty long shelf life, right? But all it amounts to over the years I've been doing his shopping for him is that every time I talk to him, he'll ask me, so when do those sausages expire? How long are those sausages good for? And I'll give him the date. And if the date is not yesterday, it's okay, so I still have time. And then this goes on for months, right? Of him asking me this. Every time I'm out there, he asks me to check it. He'll ask me on the phone after I've left, when is this good till? Has never once cooked and eaten it, right? And for like a solid year, I just stopped buying them. I just straight up told him, look, you never eat this, ever. There's a lot of other food that you get. This one you never eat. You never cook. I've offered to cook it. You didn't want me to cook it. And then after it's expired, he's like, well, you can take it home and have it. I'm like, I'm not eating it now. It's expired. Like, I give him a chance. So eventually I'm like, I'm not buying this anymore. And then a year went by and he was like, I take it back. He did eat it once. This is the only reason we're back in this. A year went by and he was like, will you please get this sausage? I know I haven't been eating. I promise I'm going to eat this. I'm like, okay, I'll give you another shot. It's your money anyway. I'll give it a shot. So I got it. And after like a month, he did actually eat it. I'm like, okay, that's great. And that just started over again. So I've thrown out like 3 sausages in this year that he has not eaten. So we're joking about like, I'll joke with him about this stuff when he asks me to buy this food that I don't think he's going to eat. And I'll say, yeah, I can pick it up from the store and I could just throw it in the trash on the way home and save the trouble. And then we were talking about it. It's like, you just leave it on someone's car. Just leave it on someone's car with a note like, nice parking, have a sausage, and just leave it to cook on the hood of their car. I imagine you might get arrested for that. I don't know what they would charge you with. I'm not sure what kind of damage like a sizzling sausage would do to the paint job on a car. It probably can't be good, right? And then, you know, people who see that, like the first thing a lot of people do is they'd be looking around to see if there's cameras around. Am I being pranked? Is this some kind of TV show? Is this a bit? I wouldn't be there. I'd be miles away. If I were to do this, I haven't done this. I'll never do this. But if I were to do it, I'd be miles away. I wouldn't stick around. Imagine prolonged contact would mess up the clear coat. Yeah. That's probably a good reason not to eat it now that I think about it, because you might get some of that product into the sausage. It's probably not good for you. But I mean, a sausage isn't that big. You're not going to get that much. You're not going to get that much of it. You gotta be selective. You might have to do some prep work. You want to at least like, you want to get that bird poop off. You don't want to like drop it on a bird turd. That would be like a nightmare, is if you were like, I'll try it, and you pick it up, and while you're like taking a little nibble out of it, you look down and see that like it had been cooking on like dried bird poop, and you're just like, oh no, the West Nile, it's in me. I'm already full of microplastics. Let's turn those microplastics into macroplastics. Just eat the silverware, eat the plastic silverware, get a head start on it, right? Speed run the plastic infusion. Join me in artificiality. Let him Voltron. You just gotta form up. All right. Let's see, what do I got on the list today? I actually was surprised when I looked at the NES games that I'm missing more than just the most recent ones. Let me make sure. I never added Uninvited to this. I'm not sure why. Bubble Bobble's still up there. There it will remain. There is Resident Evil Gaiden. Nice little semi-transparent Game Boy Color case. We've got Kamano no Shitsuri. Yeah, delightful River King fishing game. What is this? Portopia serial murder case. That was an interesting game. Sweet Home, one of my all-time favorites. I think this is Shadows of the Empire. Yep. Paper Mario. This will be Star Ocean. Tales of Fantasia. Clock Tower. Love Clock Tower. Laplas no Ma. Man, I love Laplas no Ma. Laplas no Ma, Laplas's Demon. I love the soundtrack in that game. I love the gameplay. I just adored that game. That game was so much fun. Man. This one less so. Interesting game. Had a lot of neat ideas. Not my favorite, for sure. Okay. Cool. If you hit a little animation that pulls the game off the shelf to peek at the case, like you would if you're sitting through them looking through something. I thought about doing that. At first I thought about doing that anytime I start a new game to have it come off the shelf. But it was another idea that I had that I'm now adding to, because it is a neat idea just to have an animation of like the game's kind of cycling through for like a idle animation or like a loading thing. Have your playthrough of it. Have it open another tab to watch. It is really fun, but I really enjoy the music on it. It's such a neat idea of an RPG, and I loved snapping pictures of the enemies to sell, and that's where your income comes from. Was very neat. I still have that battle music. It's so good. It's so good. What's up, Skyo? Welcome in. How you doing? Yeah, that was when I started doing like extra streams just to grind on stuff. It's like, I need to gain some levels. I'm going to go fight the demon door 20 times to rack up my money. Training haunts all day. It's back in the haunts. We are gonna run out of room here if I add all these NES games in. Let's start with Enemy Zero. So I'll have to grab all of these. All these CD cases are kind of a headache. Hey, good evening, Anochi. It's been a while. How you been? How you doing? Welcome in. A bit of a scare this morning with the computer not turning on again. Replace the CMOS battery good now. Oh my gosh, again? Oh no. I hope that's not a continual thing. That is like it's like my worst nightmare too. Like I only got this computer here. If this thing dies, like I'm not exactly in a financial situation to do big replacing. Plus, I'll be honest, like the modern graphic card market scares the crap out of me. I'm still running like a 3070 just because I'm afraid of like the 4000 series setting my my closet on fire, and I would prefer not to deal with that. This was a pre-built, which was very economical, but I don't know if I would do that again prior to my mental health the last few weeks. Yeah, I saw your post. That's good. It's a good thing to do. You gotta focus on that. No sense making yourself crazy. Well, always good to take some time to, you know, get things good in your life. I hope it's going well for you. Got a 4070. I like it. I skipped the 5000 series. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll probably keep my eyes open around the holiday season for another good deal on a pre-built. I like building machines, but like economically, it doesn't stack up anymore. As long as you can get like a decent price on a pre-built and you're pretty confident what's inside, it can work out fine. This was like a Corsair, which is pretty good, but they like were very clear on what all of the items inside it were. I think the only thing I upgraded on or replaced on was the RAM. 4070 dual by Asus is nice and short. I'll have to look into it. I like read so many articles about like the power connector burning up that I'm like, man, that'd be just my luck. I was able to Windows B my computer back on before. I had to do surgery first thing today. Oh boy. Synced my data to my phone today just in case. Yeah. I gotta do a backup. It's been a little while. I shouldn't say that because that's what dooms me, but I got backup on this. Luckily, most of my stream stuff is on like a network drive, so like that's all pretty safe. But like, do have to do my OBS from time to time. I haven't backed up in years. My backup just becomes like a data hoarding operation where I have stuff backed up that I go through, and it's like I really should go through and clear some of this out. I have stuff from like 2 jobs ago backed up. Like, why do I have this? Well, my meeting is on a true NAS. Yeah, like I've got most of the projects and stuff I work on are on a NAS, and then that gets backed up to a drive, and then I swap that drive out. I don't have like the final full option to like mass upload it or replicate it elsewhere. I've thought about buying another one, setting it up at my father's place and syncing that up, but then I thought like, man, that data is going to be through the roof. I have several terabytes. Back at my stream stuff almost immediately after updating something. I was, and then I got lazy, and I've been bad with it. I have to. This is aggravating. I really should just make like another thing here. I use these empties, which is like this circle here, because the CD cases are composed of 2 different parts. Like there's an outer lid and the inner case. Maybe 3 parts is 2 parts. 3 if there's a disc. Some of them I actually put a disc in, but I stopped doing that because you never see them. But then like it's a hassle to try and select all of them because I can't just select like this. I have to select the circle. I can collect them all from a list, but I should just put all of these, like have one empty that's like all of these discs, so I could slide them out of the way, because every time I want to like add another disc in here, I have to move all of this stuff. Resident Evil DC. I don't think I need that. This Dreamcast, I don't know why it's here. Why would I just call it DC? Director's Cut, that's what it is, not Dreamcast. Oh, it's the Note. I think that's Deep Fear. Let's see if that's it. Talk about syncing my Mumusine data to my phone. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Oh, I need the PC games. So that is all of these. Okay, let's get the PC. Most of those are down there. I think that's the Kingpin, Max Payne, and Max Payne 2. D. I think that's everything up there. Okay. All right. Oh, I should have done this afterwards. We'll just slide it out of the way now. It'd be smarter if I just did this afterwards. All right, let's go to Die Hard. I need to select all of these. Bottom insert lid. Okay, this makes sense. News, I'm getting excited for October this year. Got a lot of horror games planned. Yeah, I'm always hyped for October. I play, at least one horror game, like pretty much every week. I've got like a survival horror at least game, but I usually play horror games throughout. But then October comes and it's like all the horror games. I'm getting excited about that. Got a lot of oddball stuff going in there. I'm going to try to beat Nightmare on Elm Street again. Probably won't go well. I might be twinning with one of them. Oh, really? I got one. I'm doing. I'm gonna start next week. It's another PAL only release on PlayStation, Hell Knight, which is another weirdo game. I'm excited about. And then I think after that, I got some like fresh fan translations that came out. My coffee told me about it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think we will be twinning. I do want to play that in October. I'm very excited about that. We got that was like a big part of getting the 360 all together, so I could run that. Because I know it's on multiple systems, but like everything I've read is like the 360 is the best version to play. None of them are amazing. Whereas Nintendo's lost students' power was looking bleak. Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like a real strong case. So I think it's good for it to just play out ultimately. Even though it like eats up a lot of money, but like the more cases like that get settled, not settled, if it goes to trial, if it sets precedent, that's the big thing, because then it makes it harder for companies to do weird malicious lawsuits later. If it gets settled out of court, it does nothing for that. But the best thing that ever happens in this stuff is like the emulation case, like the Blockbuster case, like the Game Genie case, like it goes through and sets a precedent that says, no, this is the law of the land now. Same, one of my friends is playing it right now and it's hardcore. Got me in the mood to replay it. Yeah, I think about it a lot. When I go through like semi-regularly and like make sure all of the consoles that I haven't played in a while is still powering up and like check them out, make sure they're running. And that's like my go-to on the 360s. I always open up that game. I'm not going to say it if you're not going to say it, but I always open up that game and watch the intro video to make sure it's still running right. All right, so now we've got this duplicated. Let's rename this. This will be Enemy 0. I have to come back. I'm looking at this Die Hard arcade, which had me thinking of Die Hard Trilogy. I have to come back at some point and get back to Die Hard Trilogy because I never finished it. I want to at least finish like one of the games. This is bottom. Zero insert. I could probably make these less complex, but lid. These work for me. Definitely check that. Have a hard time putting it down. Yeah. It is really hard. It doesn't happen to me that often, but when it does, I'm like, oh man, you gotta watch out. I pull up a lot of stuff to like test things, especially like if there's an update to an ODE or like this, my scaler gets an update and I'll open up stuff to test it and play for a little while. And it's like, I would love to just keep playing this. I can't just keep playing this. I have to stop, but I'd love to keep playing it. I get that a lot when I'm doing like the fan translation stuff. Sometimes for good reason though, like the further you get into it, the better you can see if it's gonna flop or not, if it's gonna just like crash and burn, if the game's not gonna run right. All right, let's see the bottom. I need to change that. We'll change this first. So I need to duplicate new material. So this is basically duplicating the existing material and then entering it as a new one. So I'm duplicating the existing Die Hard arcade because otherwise, if I didn't, any changes I made to this material would also affect this one. So this is left. Throw left. Again, this is probably a better way to do these. I could have just made all three of these the same thing. When I first started working on these, a lot of scans I would find for the cases would come in slices. Like the Moby Games had that a lot, where it would be like this side and then the back and then the other side. And that's when I started making it three different materials. It really doesn't need to be because it's all in the same object. But once I have it, I don't feel like redoing it. Got a Seed of Super Mario RPG randomizer today. Oh. I've been thinking about that since you mentioned it on your stream. Like, specifically, like, where can things go wrong there? Where can you get really jammed up? Not that I want to see you suffer, but the first thing I thought about was like, what is an object that you're gonna be like, oh, I can't get this right now, and now I'm impeded from going to this area. But I don't know if there's a lot of that stuff. If there's a red color for expert difficulty settings, yeah. I wrote down that randomizer out lately. Randomizers are really good for a game that you really love, that you have played enough times, and this could even be one. You've played enough times to be like, this isn't enough of a challenge. I would love to play this more, but I want some freshness. I need more. I need more difficulty. I need something new in there. And a randomizer is like a good compromise to get that. They're a fun challenge too. Randomizers got one of my shorts at 22K views though. Yeah. Randomizers are really popular. Randomizers up there with like speed runs. People like the crazy challenges. Let's go to shading. Okay. So this is Enemy 0 right. So this is just Die Hard Arcade back cover. Okay. I gotta copy some files over here. Where is Enemy 0? These should be the same dimensions. I'm just gonna copy this over straight and we'll find out. put these into the blender. Hopefully this doesn't disconnect. If at any moment this disconnects, it's probably because I'm accessing my network drive, and it will come back very shortly. I'll just pre-warn you now. Textures. This folder is getting ginormous because it has all of the game textures in it. All right, let's see. And you don't see that little window there, which is fine. I don't really have any. I don't have anything on this game that is like, you know, my social security number for the folder name that might accidentally reveal it. But it's also at the same time, it's nice that it doesn't automatically pick it up. All right, let's see here. Get this back. What is that? The other side here? It must be the other side. Let's grip it and rip it. It is. Okay, that's looking fine. Let's have it back there. That makes sense. It makes sense. There's the right side. Let's get the spine. Why is it be back? Well, whatever. It fits. Yeah, but this is just like, I have to go through all of this. So there's the back. I'll change this to the left. See, and I don't have to do any real adjusting or resizing or anything. The images are the same dimensions, so it just kind of fits. Makes it easy. Now we have enemy 0 on the shelf. So then we will go to the insert. And that'll just be the front. And we can, easy way to do is just to hide the lid. And you can see that lines up very nicely there. Enemy 0. Starring Joe Cunniff. Did you know it stars Joe Cunniff? I bet you didn't know that. It's only advertised everywhere on it. What's up, Tom Drum? What's going on? Cue the 1980s Sunbow style animation. Spirit of Yokai Jun and Kid Pauline standing in front of me in DK. Will transform DK and Drum. Look, Drum and DK are transforming into super beasts. I don't know if this kaiju consented to the spirit traveling within your body. That would be a wild transformation. You might end up losing some height. I've heard kaiju is possibly not that tall. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. I don't know. They're not here. They'll never know. All right, I got that. Let's grab this, the Y. Slide it back just enough. Want a little bit of a gap there. And just for some variety here, we'll move it on the X. It was pretty far back already. I think we're already through. My N64 is sliding through the back of the shelf. Don't pay any attention to that. Peekaboo! All right, that's as far back as that will go. So, I mean, that one is like way out on the shelf. That's probably good. That's probably fine where that's at. I generally in real life tend to line these up like as flat as possible, but I think it's more visually interesting on here if there's some more like back and forth with it. Enemy 0. Enemy 0 was such an oddball but fun and interesting game. It's very unique. But man, did it just like it really tasked me. That was just so much headache getting through those sections. But I really enjoyed it. That was one of like the most tense game experiences. Like just traveling around with nothing but the radar, especially when there was more than one radar signature. It was just like, oh my god. It's much more realistic the way some people don't need perfectly neat shelves. Yeah, I think it's more interesting than them all just being flattened out. I like to give them a little bit of variety back there. All right, let's go back to grabbing all of these cases. That's there. Kingpin. Those aren't there. Gee. All those other ones are down there. Now we're in the PlayStation zone. Scroll on past it, didn't I? PS1. Blade, clock tower. Kawaii Shashin. I should do Kawaii Shashin again. Because I think you can get more story if you do repeated playthroughs of it. Okay, and that's all of that. This right here is how I spend a good like 70% of my time in Blender. It's just like, and let me just slide this in here and line this up. So does that look good? Does that look right? Is this going through anywhere? It's got a gap. It's got a gap. It's got enough gap. All right. So that's one. Yeet. Let's grab this. Let's get this N64 on here. Wow. There's not space. Someday I will properly model what the consoles actually look like. I thought it was neat having them sit on the shelf, and then as I use them, it kind of like this all changes out. That shelf changes out to put it on the table. In actuality, this little shelf section here actually has a middle shelf and a bottom shelf. I don't really have much on the bottom shelf. I have my battery backup on the bottom shelf. But the middle shelf has, let's see, the 3DO, Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, GameCube. I don't think I have to switch on that. It has a power transformer to convert for the, I think I use it for the 3DO because it's got a Japanese power supply, which is technically rated at 100 volt. So I run a little of that just for safety, just so I don't overload it. It helps it run a little bit cooler. And then a shelf above that has the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, the NES, the Nintendo 64, all my scalers, powers, controller, everything else. Right now on my desk itself is sitting the PC Engine. And then just kind of on the floor under my desk is a little monitor stand that has the PS3, the Xbox 360. The Xbox is just kind of hanging out right next to me. So someday I'll model that elsewhere where they're all just on the shelf instead of like on a shelf over either here, or I'll put something back there, or all the consoles are just kind of there permanently set up. The only reason I bring that up is that a lot of these things don't really fit on the shelf because I don't actually store them on a shelf like this in real life, because they absolutely fit. Even this one, I never bothered to remove the shelf from the middle, so it's slicing through the Xbox 360 and PS3 models. What's up, Ryan? Welcome in. How you doing? What's going on here? I'm just doing some Blender work. I don't know if you're kind of newer viewer. So I don't know. I haven't done a Blender stream since like February, so you might not see it. But this is my my background, and on the background I have all of my games as I finish them or start playing them. I have the cases or cartridges modeled and placed on the shelf here. So every so often, not as often as I should, I go back and add games that I finished, recently completed, recently added to the stream, add onto the shelf. So as I continue streaming, the shelf just gets progressively fuller, and eventually I'm going to have to run out of room, and I'm going to have to shift some of my protein slurry cans here. But this is all like my background section that I have. So I do update this from time to time. Some serious commitment. I appreciate that. It's I feel so silly doing it. I love doing it, and I spend a lot of time in Blender when I'm working on other stuff with this open and making little renders of it. And it's just a nice, like, easy challenge because I'm still learning Blender. I'm always learning. I'm no expert at all. It's nice when you have something that you physically have in front of you that you can model, because it makes it a lot easier to look at it and be like, okay, this looks correct. This could use a little work. These don't scale properly, which some of them do and don't. Sometimes I have to go back and adjust the scale. When Laura chibi model, I should. I ran out of time, and I haven't gotten very good at making actual hair. I may do this at some point in the future, but when I thought about this as far back when I played D. I miss having more free time to try to make outfits for games, because I'd love to make outfits for like more games. So I don't think I could do it for every game, but I like to have the option for more games. And for D, I was just gonna make a blonde wig, like in the style of Laura from D, like old style 3D blonde wig, so I could just have Laura's hair while I'm playing the games. I may do that for the next one. It's a good place to start for modeling, but eventually you'll cross over into the Play-Doh hair. Yeah. Eventually you'll cross into like making stuff that you don't physically have. But making this look like an actual like Famicom cartridge, right? That you can see and like, okay, this looks pleasing to the eye. This looks accurate, at least as far as I'm concerned, as happy as I am with it. So that when you make something that is completely made up, you can use techniques you use to make this texturing or model certain angles of it on that, and it will look more real that way. River City Ransom, great game. It is a great game. I played that like a month or two ago. I played through that. I love that game so much. And the game was so much fun playing through it. Yeah, so I got that on there. I gotta add a couple NES games. What else is on the list? Is there anything else disc-based? That's Enemy Zero. I do East. I don't think I do East yet. East is I need East to be on the front. So like the CD, the TurboGrafx CD release of East has two versions, and one version was a regular retail release, which has a case, even though they're like credit card sized games. They are in like CD style cases, right? So this is Splatterhouse for the PC Engine. I did play the was it ROM hack? I think it was just a translated version of the Japanese version, or they just replaced the graphics, because in the US version they made it look a lot less like Jason Voorhees. But when I played this, I played like a translated version. So this is like a PC Engine case, or TurboGrafx case. They had a cardboard box too that they would come in, but the actual game case was just like this. And then inside of it was like an indent that holds the PC Engine game, which is basically like a credit card. Although, if you're collectors of this stuff, you should be aware, they also came in a little plastic slip case, like a small like vinyl plastic case, dust cover, and that plastic is fairly reactive, and at this point, if you haven't pulled it out, it's likely to be melting your TurboGrafx or PC Engine game. So a little PSA there. Take those out of the dust covers if you can, because otherwise it'll eat it alive. But yeah, so the TurboGrafx version of East Book 1 and 2 had a retail release, but it also had a pack-in release. And the only real difference is the labeling on the disc itself is different, but on the case for the pack-in, it just has like the front manual, and there's no back, there's nothing on the spine. Well, that's the version I have, and I don't have a really good scan. I could cheat and just like use the case. I got to find a better scan for it, because like some of these games, I was like, I just have these games loose. I got rid of the packaging years ago. This is Kingpin, Max Payne, and Max Payne 2. We're on the shelf. These are just unlabeled CD cases with nothing in them, and I really should just put something in them. You can't really see it anyway, but I try to put something more interesting on that so you can actually see it. So I got to find scans for that. It's not always easy to find good images of these. And I don't really have great access to a scanner to scan this stuff myself. I'm also leery of like ripping apart my game cases to take the inserts out. I don't want to break a bunch of plastic and stuff. So I'm not going to do East right now. I'll wait till I actually start that. So I think that leaves NES titles, which I have 4 NES games, and I don't think I'm going to have room on the shelf. So maybe time to start moving the SNES and N64 titles. So let's just start. I've had these roughly in order of when I played them, and I'm wondering if I should maintain that, because I would have to go back and slide this in there, but I think it might be fine otherwise. So I need 4 of these. So let's just do it. This, and then bring it out here. Now Shift DY. We're just duplicating the objects. Okay, go to this one. So the first one I'm gonna put in is uninvited. Because some of the other ones actually, I can get rid of one of these. Let's just get rid of this entirely here. Deleted. 2 other ones will go up there for reasons. So this is uninvited. So let me find it in the list here. Uninvited NES card. Which I did not do after I played this for Halloween. I played this in October. Halloween month. Spooky month last year. And I never came back and did a model for it. So NES cart labels are an interesting animal. Kind of a pain. And a lot of the trouble with it is that unlike scans for let me see if is Curtis still here. Should still have a Krita. I do. Let's open City Ransom. It's the most recent one, right? I did do Dragon Warrior. City Ransom. So one of the challenges with the NES games is that I can't find good scans of the label. And the best I could find is the NESCart DB website has photographs of the front of the cartridge and the top of the cartridge. And then I have to like splice them together. RCR NES label. There we go. Okay. River City Ransom. So we'll start with this because this is an existing one and this will make it easier. The trouble is that then I have to go through and splice them together. I have seen places that sell reproductions of the labels, but I don't know where they're getting the images from. And there's probably some photoshopping, some manual photoshopping involved, which makes it trickier for me. Where are you, uninvited? Okay, so we'll drag these in as a new layer. This is what I have to do pretty much every time. Pretty much every time I do these is dragging this in here. And then I will have to size this up. And just size it up so that it pretty much lines up. A little bit bigger. We don't want to see any gray on the side, either on the left or the right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. There's a little bit of an edge is okay. This is like rotated ever so slightly too. Okay, that's probably all right. Slide this up just a hair there. Okay. The little corners here, I used to spend a lot of time like clearing out like the little corners and the edge, but it's so small you can't really see it and it really blends in well. All right, here's where it gets to be a pain. Do I need to go to all this effort? No. Do I like it? Yes. Okay, so we can see here, this fits pretty well. Maybe a little bit big. Slide it in just a touch. Just a hair, just a smidge. We're gonna line up the Chemco on the bottom there with the top here. Okay, let's get that up just a little bit. All right. So the only real issue here is there's a bit of a gap here, which is honestly like part of the scan. And this, so I'm going to that's not what I wanted. Let's merge these together. I might as well just flatten it. Smart patch tool. I am very basic with the work that I do on this. See if I can. Nope. Nope. Okay, let's take another tactic. Take another tactic here. Let's make a box. Don't erase, just regular normal type. Normal type, make a box, make this a vector layer. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, what is the deal there? What is the deal with this? I picked the wrong thing. I picked the wrong thing, didn't I? Square, right? What's a square, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, it's just weird. Okay. Why are you like this? Why is it weirdly rotated? What have I done? I've never seen this before. I'm just trying to make a box. Why is it all going all wild here? Okay, well, that makes sense. I just want a rectangle tool. Is it just because it's... Okay, maybe that's it. All right. We don't want it filled at all. We don't want it outlined at all. We just want to fill. Okay, there we go. It's just a high degree of line there. Scrape it right off the edge. Okay. We're going to take this. We're going to get this color here. Why are you always so difficult with this? There has to be a better way. Honestly. Why are you always so goofy with this here? Okay. Pixel is huge. Outline. No outline. Filled foreground color. Okay, there we go. It's almost going to be more difficult than it needs to be. All right, now we will promote that. We'll convert this to a paint layer. Going to make some noise here. Some blur. Add some random noise to this. No, not like that. Not like that. Let's see here. Be a little noisy. I don't do a lot of I'm not like an expert with this stuff in the least. Just randomly cycling through filters here to try and make it look janky. Oh, those are it. Nope. I just want random noise like on this layer. See, this kind of works, but it can only be on that in that selection. Okay. Let's see if I can select opaque. Can I just filter from this? There we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. All right. I'll just make this a little bit opaque on the edge. Fold there. Okay, that's probably good. Okay. Good enough. Good enough for government work. Uninvited. Uninvited was fun. Uninvited was a lot of fun. All right, let's go back to this. And we'll just change this. And there we go. Not bad. When you get real close, you could see these edges more, but from a distance, it's fine. I could easily go back and just delete that stuff if it's a big problem. Okay, we got uninvited. Tombs and treasure. Some treasure nest cart. Cart label. All right. I'm going to go back to Krita once again and do it again. What else is there? Shadowgate. Shadowgate's the other one. I think I have something to say for Shadowgate. Tombs and treasure. Okay. If I'm smart, and I'm not, I could record the just delete that. We don't need that there. Record the size I enlarge this on, and then I wouldn't have to just manually do this. I could just say, 82.5%, whatever. To my nephew, before you do anything with her, ask yourself if you're the same to a goat. Oh my gosh. That's quite a strange criteria there. I guess if your goal is to keep them from doing anything, that's probably a good way to do it. Pretty good. Slice it off more in the bottom. Great. This one is weird, because I think this is supposed to be all red up here. I honestly think it's supposed to be all red. Maybe I need to find another one. This is from NestDB again. I think this is like a sun damaged cart. Mine is not. I think nothing. It is all red. I know it's meant to be all red. So this is just kind of jank and busted here. That is the problem. But the reason, like, the reason these are so hard to come by, as opposed to like anything for, a disc-based game, is that if you want to scan this, you're gonna have to rip it off the Nest cartridge, and like, I imagine a lot of people aren't gonna want to do that. The box art. Is there any other art? Those are screenshots. Box art. Okay, no. I'm trying to find anywhere that has an image of the cart label itself. I don't know what it is. I can just never find them. Someone's got them. Welcome back, John. Somebody has labels for these, because they'll sell them to you. I won't buy a label. I just want a picture of it. Just want a good picture. I have a logo. What if I could just fix that? Manually, like, well, look at a folder here. See what kind of logos I have. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Almost. There we go. Okay. And then I can dupe this, duplicate layer. And then it will get flipped, turned upside down. Scale it just right. This is excessive. Perfection. Do. Same thing here. We're going all out on this one. It's off by a quarter pixel. Why'd you have to say something? I didn't want to vocalize like, boy, I wish I had a way to line this up proper, but it's not. It's just gonna have to do, and then you cursed me. You cursed me. Why, Ryan? Why? What's up, Flash? How you doing? Welcome in. Good to see you. All right. We'll do it like this. This might stand out a little bit more than I care for. Oh, let's slide that up. Okay. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to round these corners a bit. Let's say 2020. 2020 is pretty much on the dot. We go a little bit less. 16 is good. 16 is good. Okay. 3/64 of a pixel off. I can't do it. It's just gonna have to measure up. Good. How about you? You and the fam visiting things have settled down. Ah, that's nice. Things are going okay. They're kind of crazy. They're kind of crazy go nuts, but like it's manageable so far. Let's get the opacity down. Let's see. Probably wrap this one up, and then I got time for a little bit more. All right. NES. Is that a dash? 2T-USA. Use good old free sans, non-italic. You're not quite black. Oh, it's in there, so the opacity is lower. Let's see here. 14. It's pretty close. Height wise looks okay. Let's save this. So cheer everyone up. And IHOP for dinner. Ooh, I am jealous. I haven't been to an IHOP in ages. And there's one not too far from me, so I don't have any real excuse for it. Okay. Let's see here. It's approximately the right place. Eh? Yeah, I see. I don't see. There we go. Not rendering the spaces here, which is very weird. You know what? Just gonna have to do. I know that's not entirely accurate. You're not gonna see it anyway. All right, let's take this, convert it to a paint layer. Select opaque, filter other random noise. Turn the opacity down. Turn that down a little bit. Roll that all up. It blends well enough. Good enough. Tools and treasure. That was another good one. Another really good one. Really enjoyed Tombs and Treasure quite a bit. Now back to the blender. Tombs. Oh, it's up at the top because I have it sorted by freshness. I won't even see that front part. I think it's made like too good. Too good. I love the Tombs and Treasure is such a, maybe it's just like the bold red color of it and the pulp style artwork. It's such a such an eye-grabbing like image, like the box art and everything. It's just very, I don't know. I just think it's a very interesting design. It really stands out. It really stands out from a lot of the other ones. It's just the formatting, the layout, everything is like just a little bit different. It's fairly unique, but this like bright tomato red just looks weirdly out of place. I remember the first time I saw the cart for this, and it was like, I hadn't played this as a kid. I'm like, is this real? Because it looks like a pulp adventure magazine, and honestly, it looks like someone today trying to imitate the style of a pulp adventure magazine from like the 50s. And it just seems like so incongruous with a lot of other NES titles that are like, is this a legit game? Does this actually like, they actually make it look like this? But no, this is legit. It's a very cool game. Really enjoyed that. It's a Nihon Falcom game from right before East. ported to the NES, which I think they did a pretty good job of it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. This, I believe, will be Shadowgate. Shadowgate was good. I didn't like it as much as Uninvited. If I had played Uninvited first, if I had played Shadowgate first, I think I would have liked it more, to be honest. I think my perception would be different. I would still like Uninvited more, but I think I would have been more like hyped about Shadowgate if I had played it beforehand. I think I spoiled myself by playing Uninvited before the other Mac Venture games. I don't think I'm gonna like any of them as much as I liked Uninvited. The Torch PTSD. I didn't understand what the point of the torches was, because you die. I guess Uninvited had a similar thing where there's a gem you can pick up at some point that curses you, and much like the torch, after a set amount of time passes, you just die. But then you just continue, so it just becomes this annoying thing. And someone came to the chat and pointed out, like quite randomly, like, oh, I guess you picked up that gem. And I was like, oh, is that what's doing it? And I threw it away and I stopped dying, and that was it. I was like, okay. And I didn't need it for anything else. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna game over because I don't have these torches. It just feels like this is gonna take me longer because I don't have this torch. I'm gonna have to deal with these damn beeps. I'm gonna have to deal with it randomly cutting me out. I'm trying to race through the next section. I just find it kind of irritating, and without adding like meaningful punishment, if that makes sense. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. It was not what I expected, because I remember every time I look it up, people were like, oh, those torches, you're gonna hate those torches. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll have to watch out, because like these torches might be trouble for me. And then when I actually played it, it was like, oh, I see. This is not what I thought it would be. This really sucks. In a way I was not anticipating. All right. Shadowgate, I actually found somewhere that had it, but it's not highest res. We can actually get rid of those. We can get rid of that. Okay. It's not as high resolution as the rest of it, but it will be fine. It also doesn't have the rounded edges like at all. Also, this is too tall. What the hell? Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Oh, I don't want to use this. I'm looking up here and it's like, this is a mess. This is a mess. All right, back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board. I think I downloaded that when I played the game, and I did not I did not bother to look at it like closely. I was like, I'll have this when I actually do the model, and that was as far as I went. NASCAR TP. Show me potato salad. Shadowgate. All right. This one is okay. Yeah, sometimes the images will be like the labels like really jacked up. Like, I don't mind it being scratched up. I think it looks really cool as such. I never bothered trying to take pictures of my own, because every time I've tried to take reference images for stuff, it's always like it's not square enough. If that makes sense. And then I have to spend a bunch of time trying to adjust it, and it's like, oh man, this is all going to hell. These are not... Why didn't I make this smaller? Where did I get the original cart label that has determined the size of all of these? At one point I had a template that had like a mask on it that cut the corners out, and I don't know what I did to it. I think it was made off of like a different label scan that was formatted differently that didn't quite match up. And when I started getting these labels, like, oh, these all look off, I decided not to use that anymore. I think that might have been a mistake. Zoop. I think this one will be just fine. Maybe. Now I'm looking at it like this is a little bit crooked up top here. And that's going to make me crazy. Okay. Let's get this up top here. Level this out a little bit more. See, this is not leveled. It's just not leveled. Let's put that underneath. All right, this I think I can fix. Possibly. Nope. Nope. I just want to extend that further in. Once again, we got the Chemco thing. How does this line up? So that's all going to be like in the top there. Okay. Can I extend this out? Why doesn't this extend out? Let's flatten this down here. I could probably just paint this up there, but oh, that's gonna, oh Jesus, that's gonna look rough. Okay, let's just paint those. Just try and paintbrush this up over there. Let's see. Let's get this color. Whoa! I don't know why it always defaults to it being so like massive there. Nope. You know, I should have done this before I merged all of this down. Okay. We'll do it on this one. To okay. Same deal. I don't know why I go so far with this. The detail none will see. Make some noise. I wish I could scale the noise up higher. Like make the actual dots bigger. Because that's just kind of like a compression noise there. Maybe? Let's see. Let's cover like fake coupons, turn an account for money in TV shows. Yep. we're gonna turn this into some crisp shadow gates. They're gonna come back later. They're gonna peel all this back and be like, underneath the shadow gate was a pristine tombs and treasure. Why did the artist choose to paint over it? We will never know. All right, how does this look here from a back end? It looks fine. Yeah, it's kind of gungy there, but from the outside, good enough. Good enough. Okay, now before I slide those, now we'll slide them back in. What am I saying? Let's get the 3 of them lined up on each other here. So let's grab this on the y-axis and just kind of okay. I think that's probably spaced appropriate. They're not jammed into each other. I don't think they've got a modicum of distance between them. Okay, and that's good enough. Okay, and then we will give him a little variance here. We'll slide you up a little bit. Up a little bit. That's good. That's good. Okay. Now we just got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have no reason to count that. Barely got room there. I'm gonna have to rethink where I place all of these. These ones kind of bum me out the most because you can't see them at all. And I'd like to be able to have those see them. The only way I could think of, especially for like the Super Famicom or the original Famicom, Nintendo 64, that typically don't have a label on the top, is to have them arranged so that they're like on a shelf, on a tiered shelf. But I'll run out of room for that very quickly. Super Nintendo, but I could start putting those up here. You wouldn't see them that well, but that goes for all of them anyway. I'll put it on a shelf here, but you won't really see them that much. But I at least want them to be somewhat visible. So I may start doing what I actually have going on my shelf in the real world, is that my Famicom, like these style Famicom games, are actually sitting on the lip here, on the edge facing out, which is kind of precarious. Okay, let's let's slide these in here. A little bit. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more room there, aren't we? Whoa, living on a prayer. I don't think I can do more than that. Oh, not. Why? Okay, pretty good. Got some variety there. All right. Still room, but this is it. This is it for the NES shelf. If I need to add anything more here, there's going to be trouble. I can actually go back just a little bit there. How is this? Is this faced in the side? All right. So let's do this. Let's see, rotate Z minus 90. And then we'll grab X here, grab Y. You can still see the labels. Oh, I just eyeballed that and it's pretty damn close. Yeah, that's about what it looks like. IRL. Just waiting for me to walk past it too quickly and it just tumbles over to hell. That's an insane amount of detail. Thank you, Uncle Pogo. How you doing? Welcome in. Good to see you. Are those N64 games? The N64 games are Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, and Paper Mario. There will be more added up there. I don't think I want that there. I think because I don't have, it's not on the shelf with NES games. It's on the shelf with Blu-rays, which have approximately this much space. So there's enough space for it to sit. Even though this isn't the real world and this isn't going to actually fall, it really bothers me that it is hanging that much off the shelf. Because I would never put something that precariously on there. Because I got to walk past this. And I can tell from unfortunate lifetime of experience, if I have stuff stacked like this, if I walk past it within a hair's breadth, it's going to be picked up by the wind of my passing and just rip it down there. I will have to think about that because I want that to be more visible. It hasn't really been visible for a while. I really want Sweet Home to be like out there where you can see it. So I think I'm going to start moving these. I'm not going to do it tonight. I think I'm going to start moving my protein slurry cans around a bit and start moving these forward and figure something out. You can't see these anyway, like at all. I even like staggered them and it's pointless because they've been completely covered by the show forever. Wendy and Gravity conspiring against Jum. Yeah, I have learned like to not build my life like a series of pit traps. Because I have a lot of stuff and I've always had limited space and it always leads me to have like 3 tiers on my bookshelf, like 3 layers of books. And if I push it too far, like you don't want like all of this stuff lined up so that like it just dominoes and dumps all this stuff over. As the elements will do. Yes, they did. Speaking of, when did you see the meme I made of you? I did. I was laughing about that. It's very accurate of my view of the AI stuff. Constantly railing against that. Thank you for always slapping those hot memes up there, Flash. Always appreciated. Your pits, they are the pits. They are the pits. All right, we'll do something else with this. Yeah, I gotta have to slide these. I would have to figure something out anyway. Because I have a lot more NES games I want to play. I'll have to play around with this. See, this is an interesting. It's a good problem to have, in my opinion, that I start running out of space here because it means I've played a lot of games and made a lot of solid memories of playing these games and joking about it with y'all. But I'll have to figure out how to optimally store these because otherwise I'm going to run out of shelf space eventually. I don't mind just having stuff stacked up to the sky because that is accurate, sadly. But I want to figure something out to do with these because I at least want Sweet Home to be more visible because I really love that game. It's one of my all-time favorites. I got 2 more I'm going to drop in here and we're going to use the Bubble Bobble for this. And the reason is, and I don't think, did I rescale this? I think it should be the same. I had to go back and rescale these because I realized at one point I had them lined up with like PlayStation games. And I think it was maybe the Super Nintendo ones. I realized like these were not sized appropriately. These are probably my least accurate ones. Because they were the first. The NES cartridge was the first like game cartridge model I made. Because the first console model I made was the NES, or as I call it here, the Jum Jum No entertaining box. I don't know why. Like I'm gonna get sued. I don't think they'll care. What's up, Speed? Welcome back. But I made this cartridge, and then as I made other consoles and actually like made this little like scale ruler here to accurately scale them, when I started putting them together, I'm like, wait a minute, this NES is the wrong size, and I scale it back down, and then like this cartridge is incorrect. So things started falling apart there, and I went back and like rescaled these down, and I'm always looking at like the rest of them. Like, did I get all of these? Are these correct? Anyway, let's I got 2 games to put up here. Let's get this accurately stacked. This is going to be Bomberman and Friday the 13th. Okay, they're sitting on top of each other, and then we will rotate it a bit, and then we will do the same. Powerman, aka the one betrayed by Konami. Oh, there's so many other ones. Reporting to Nintendo, cease and desist incoming. Please, God, no. Please, no. Ryan, why? Ryan, please. Please stop preying on my downfall. So when Jum ate around, of course, I would get Yokaiju Spirit to balance my body in an effort to gain more power. That's reasonable. Kaiju's a powerful entity to choose from. Kaiju definitely put up quite a bit of a fight there. I bet scaling is a nightmare. It's the only tip if you were to do anything like this is set your scale from the start, and then just follow everything on that. My problem is when I modeled the NES and the cartridge for it, like the cartridge was modeled around the NES, so like that lined up. But I did this independently. I always model stuff in a new Blender file, but I'll usually import. Now I import this ruler down here every time whenever I start something new, so it's scaled appropriately to everything else in here. But when I started, I didn't do that. I just kind of eyeballed stuff. And I didn't really check how accurate this stuff is. Like the shelves were scaled appropriately and everything. It wasn't until I started adding more consoles that I realized like all of these sizes are wrong. And I started stacking up like, you know, the cartridge. I actually physically got, because I would just do things independently. Like, here's a CD case. This looks like a CD case. Great. I never took a CD case and set it up against a DVD case or an NES cartridge or anything else, and then compared to the model to see like, oh wait, these sizes are all wrong. And then I did at one point and I was like, these NES cartridges are way too big. They were like twice as large as they should have been. It's like, oh God. Oh God. Majora's Mask randomizer on Tuesday. You just, oh no, that was not going to time. Have you started that yet? You're starting a fresh randomizer for that, right? Or am I confused? I thought you just finished the Ocarina of Time one. I didn't think you had done Majora's Mask yet, Perhenmo. Where are we here? This will be Bomberman. Ness. Cart. Cart label. And this will be... I can't believe I never did Friday the 13th. I don't think it'll stay here. I think Friday the 13th is going to get like a wall mount. Might have it framed. Because that is my MVP game, weird as that may be. All right. Bomberman. Let's see what I got for Bomberman. First ever. I always get the, like, I couldn't, if you just showed me like 3 seconds from either of those games, unless you were like transformed into something else. If it was just like Link on screen for 3 seconds from either of those games, I probably couldn't tell you which one was which. And so if I tune in and watch for a while, I may get confused about which one is which. between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I don't have... Is this? No, this is... No, I think this is it. All right. Let's put this in there. On the way to the tippy. A reused asset. There's no problem back then. People didn't cry like Night, right? Yeah. Oh, people cried about that with Elden Ring because they found stuff in there. They're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This came from something else. Yeah. Where did I get these from? These are like, they're all horribly inaccurate. Or the other ones I have are inaccurate. All right, we're back to the gristmill for this one. B for bomber. What are you on page 3 there? He's a bomber man. Bring up. Theory about Termina based on reuse assets. Learning is a whole reuse asset. Said it multiple times during Dark Souls. Yeah, but this is my opinion. Like, smart asset reuse is just smart game design, right? Like, you've got them, reuse them, as long as it's like, because there's a lot of stuff in there. Like, yeah, they reuse this model, but like, it looks very different. Yeah, this building looks familiar. Like, cool, it's a building. It's a mud hut. Who cares? Do you need an absolutely unique mud hut every time? And some random shack in the woods, it doesn't have to have a new expensive model. Getting advertisements for canned oxygen. The Lorax is becoming reality. The Lorax or Spaceballs. Is it possible that the advertisements for canned oxygen are some sort of like are entirely about Spaceballs too? Because that was the thing from Spaceballs, was like the canned air. I wonder if there's or if that's just coincidental, because we do live in a world where, like, yeah, it might not be a bad idea to get that canned air. Could just be the Spaceballs. Spaceballs. Watch out. Canned air. I could use some. Perry air. That's right. That's right. She's gone from suck to blow. I saw that movie in the theater as a child. I laughed uproariously. I quite enjoyed it, even though there were a lot of things that I did not understand for many years. Usually because, like, years later I'd make a reference to it and someone would be like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, what do you mean? It's Spaceballs. And they're like, no, you idiot. This means that. Like, oh, okay. I guess I never really thought about it. I never thought about it beyond haha funny Spaceballs. I never really considered what any of it was actually referencing or meaning. Right, we're in the same boat here. But it's just fine. It's just fine. Can I just no. Nope. I just want this blued. Blew it. No. Damn it. It's all going to hell. almost. We're getting it. Gotta preserve that Hachisuke. The Hudson Bee. Okay, that's good enough. It's got a weird line to it, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Techno Factory standard canned air. Nestle says water is not a human right anymore. Oh my God, no! Don't bring up the Nestle water. Man, we ain't found shit. I love when they're go to the rental store to rent the movie they're in, and then they fast forward it too far. Everybody, people who's in China, yeah. Oh, I can't. The Nestle thing is like, I haven't heard that in a while, and it's not like it's gone away or gotten better. I'm like, hey, why don't we just buy? But you know what? We're gonna have a bigger problem with that. That Nestle now is all the data centers rolling in. They use a tremendous amount of water. So now we're literally going to be fighting Skynet for water. This is the plot of what was it? Oblivion with Tom Cruise. This is the plot of that, right? The AI has come for the water. It's going to drink all of our water. It's going to drink it up. I just realized I've been sitting here working on this, and I never made that Bowerman. That's all I've been doing. I forgot to make that visible. Now I'm surrounded by assholes. They're all like weird cross eyes. I can't believe you missed that shot. So this guy is known for. He's been in a ton of other things. Yeah, for Waterworld. I'm gonna put myself out there. I like Waterworld. I think Waterworld is a fine movie. I still don't understand the Waterworld hate. I love the guy in Waterworld that's down in the fuel tank on the ship. Unsubscribed. No, Pogo, hear me out. Have you seen it recently? There's like the old man they have stuffed down in the oil tank on the tanker, who's just trapped inside the fuel tank measuring it. And then when Kevin Costner drops a flare in there and he sees it and he's about to blow up, he says, "Oh, thank God." It's like, I think we can all feel that. Like, he's not like, "Oh, I'm going to blow up." He's just like, "Oh, I'll last him out of here." How do you learn to use Blender? I more or less just kind of jumped in and did it. And then, like, if I would get stuck on something, I would find a tutorial for it. The two biggest ones that got me going was a tutorial for making a VRM in Blender. I think it was VR chat, and I can't find the channel now since we referenced the best scene. Yeah, there's so much that's ridiculous and doesn't make sense about it, but like. I like the movie. It's a fun adventure movie. It was just like a big commercial flop, but I don't think it's nearly that bad. The bar I used to frequent had a Waterworld pinball machine for a long time too, which I also loved. It was like, hey, is that Waterworld? Hey, that's my spirit animal, the fuel guy, trapped deep in the depths. Young Jack Black too. Oh, was Jack Black in that? The earliest movie I can remember Jack Black in was The Jackal, where Bruce Willis blows his arm off. I with every fiber of my being. Well, you don't like Waterworld? You don't like Waterworld? Waterworld's good stuff. What am I even looking for? What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. Trying to find this channel. There was two channels in particular that got me in Blender. One was this, and the other one was NES console. I learned a lot from it. They actually still use like a lot of what is in there I'm not sure if the guy is still doing it. Yeah, so this one is the making a NES. I think it's 2 or 3 parts in total. Kevin Costner playing Kevin Costner. Usually, yeah. There's a movie where he's a serial killer. He was really good in that. I also love Kevin Costner in The Untouchables. You know, I will say, like, there are a lot of actors who get criticized for always just playing themselves. And I'm going to say that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as, like, you're interesting. Like, I don't mind that Kevin Costner is always just Kevin Costner because, you know, Kevin Costner's great in those. Like, Kevin Costner with a bow and arrow, I'll take it. Kevin Costner building a baseball field, cool, sounds good. It's like it just works. You know, like there are some actors that if they always play themselves and it's doesn't fit the character or work with it. But I think Kevin Costner is like gets really good, like cast really well in movies, or now he's doing a lot more TV. Where like, yeah, just show up and be Kevin Costner. We'll just like scrape the name off and put someone else's name on it. And like, hey, it works. It works for me anyway. I'm pretty forgiving of this stuff. So that was the NES. That was the first one I made. So I made that. I diverged from parts of it a little bit, and then I would just kind of go through and work on stuff. And then if I'd get stuck or get an idea like, hey, how do I add like dirt to something? I just like find a tutorial on YouTube for that. And then like piece by piece, you like learn a little bit more techniques and stuff. You can also go through. I didn't do this. You may want to if you're interested in checking out Blender, trying to find the tutorials. I think there's like the donut tutorial is like the typical one people do. I never made the donut. I saw pictures of the donut long after I started working in Blender, and I was like, what is this donut you're talking about? I guess there's a like beginner's tutorial about there making the donut. I should probably do it at some point because I would probably learn something from that by just like starting over. This person, and they have like, this person has several different series, and I don't remember which one I went through because some stuff changed. 3D avatar class, old version I think is probably what I used, but this was how I made the model, the Jum Jumington model, which is the first thing I made in Blender. Is this the animated my own VTuber model. Everybody, this guy doesn't know the donut. I don't know the donut. I never even bothered to look it up. I saw people talking about it and I'm just like, oh, that's weird. That's weird. I think that's a Blender Guru. Stop recommending the donut. Here's a post on Reddit from a year ago. Stop recommending the donut. It is not a masterclass on Blender. The donut gives you the tools you need to start going further into Blender's tools. Stop recommending the donut. Has donut tutorial been really helpful to you to learn Blender? So, but it goes over like the donut tutorials. Like any of these tutorials are nice because they get you started on like the basics. Just like navigation, navigating stuff, how to set commands, like things to look out for. You can go very far in Blender with very basic knowledge. And this is the same with a lot of tools. And you will reach a point eventually where you probably need more advanced knowledge. Like, hey, I did all of this, but like, it doesn't quite look realistic enough. Like, doesn't quite look right. Or it doesn't, especially if you're doing like 3D animation with like deformable armatures, which is like, you know, what you're seeing with my mouth moving and my body stuff. That can get kind of complicated, and there's a lot of like gotchas and things. But then there's other areas like geometry nodes that you can use to just generate a bunch of stuff, or different add-ons and things. I use some geometry nodes on this. I have one can model, and then I use a geometry node to put them on the shelf. So I can go to the geometry node and change like the randomness of the rotation and the amount on the shelf. And it just like populates this area on the shelf with cans. So I don't have like a bunch of different can models that I've duplicated and placed out here. There's just this can model that's on the floor here as a reference. And I'm not even sure if it needs to be. I'm pretty sure it needs to be there. Not necessarily right there. It's just out of camera view, but you don't have to do all that stuff. I think that's the biggest thing with stuff like this is you might get overwhelmed because people will start talking about like really complicated stuff with like materials or geometry nodes or scripting. And you don't need that starting out. You don't need to do that to make something like this right here. And so it's like best to try to avoid getting like too ahead of yourself on stuff. But I mean, you know, everyone's different. Some people like excel at that. They just jump straight in the deep end. But those are like some of the ones I looked at. And I have like a whole list that I could probably put in the Discord at some point of different tutorials that I've saved for different things that I needed at one point or another. Oh yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, I do need to do these differently here. Okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna get rid of these. I'm gonna get rid of these. I'm going to dupe this. Just gonna place it randomly out there. I'm gonna select this. Cursor to selected, and take this. Shift S, selection to cursor. Rotate X 90, negative 90. Rotate X, negative 90. Okay. The reason I'm doing that is I don't want to have to sit there and redo the UVs. The Bubble Bobble is an old cart, and I've since like fixed some issues with the UV to make the texture appear the way I want it to, and I don't feel like I need to redo that all right now. As opposed to just doing this, taking one that I already fixed that stuff or adjusted it. This Bomberman should still exist here, because even though I deleted the object, the material should still be there. And that's what we want. So there's that. I did not make one for the other thing, so well, we can Shift D Z this. Shift D duplicates it, and then I'm not much of a teacher, so give me Shift D duplicates it, and then you can select X, Y, or Z to just move it from the duplication point along that axis. Appreciate the advice. Been curious about Blender, but taking the first steps is intimidating. It is. That's why having I recommend, if you don't go through like a full course on it, just like the NES one, I feel like is really good. You're gonna run into some stuff, because I did, that may not work properly with it. It's a good learning opportunity, but starting out with something that's like, here, make this basic shape, and then like, here's the things you do to make it look like this real thing. You know, it gives you something concrete to work around. Because a lot of people I've seen some people start and they're like, jump immediately to the sculpting tools, and then they don't know how to make that into like a usable model from something. So I think even like the most basic guardrails on it, like you'll be able to go much further with it. but it's, you know, it's a process. There's always something new to learn. There's always like a little bit further to go with it. I don't think I have. I don't think I ever had already made one. No, I did. Right, 13th cart label. No, this should still work. This should still work. Okay. Jum Feng Shui for the slurry. Yep. All right, let's get back to Krita. We'll get this Friday the 13th, and then we'll wrap it up for this evening. I think I already pulled down some images for this. I did. Let's just get rid of all of those. Get large, get large. Just a little bit more. Very good. This is yet another one of my all-time favorite NES games. I hated it for the longest time because I didn't understand it. And once I understood it, I grew to just love the game. It is so much fun. Even when I'm losing, those derpy little like counselor characters in it, I have invented more or less personality for them. I just find it so much fun. Straighten this out just a little bit. I don't think I needed to do that. I think we're good. It's a little rough on the edges there. I may just do this. Just on this one. What I should do is just make a mask, a transparency mask of the rounded corners and just apply it to the top layer. It'll make it easier, make them all very consistent, but I'm not going to do that right now. Friday. Debbie in the house. Debbie. It's like a person, you just have to get to know them. Yeah. If only Jason was purple. I love that. What was the toy companies that NECA made a made a purple Jason action figure, which I thought was just fantastic. How's that look? Oh, that looks good. That looks. I'm glad I erased those corners. That looks really nice now. Right there. Does that fold line up right? I got my cart right here. Right at the 13th. Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. Mine's got some schmutz on it from where there's a price label or a rental sticker. It looks like a rental sticker. I got this. I had this as a kid, and I don't know what happened to our copy of it. I don't know if my brother took it or what. But I received it back again, a copy of it from some friends of mine years ago when I started talking about the Friday the 13th tradition. Was when we started, and they bought me this copy, and I never bothered to clean up this old label goo on it or find another copy. I've been looking around because I'd like to buy. I don't really collect a lot of the games as much as I just want to get them to play. So it means I have a lot of games that might not have a good case or might not have the manual or anything. I have next to nothing that's like complete in box. Because unless I already owned it and had the box, I haven't bothered to buy it. Friday the 13th is one of those games that I always have on my mind, like, if I get a little extra scratch, to go out and buy a complete in box version of it. I don't think in terms of like complete in box NES games, it's not that expensive. But I just really like the game, and I do play it every year. All right. Well, I think that's the only other game that I had in mind to add today was the Eastbook 1 and 2, but I'm going to hold off on that until I can find a better scan. I can't see Friday the 13th in this anymore, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to have to space this out. These ones on top are the ones that like I end streams with. Is that? Maybe a little bit too low. Yeah, I think it is. Whoa! You can see it like right there, just kind of. Just phasing in there, just clipping out. Let's get that. Just up there. How about this one? Yeah, same deal. It's like just. Nope, just you. Just you, Friday the 13th. There we go. You can use like the snap on these to make that a little bit easier. Some of my models, especially the ones I've duplicated 100 times over, like had some issues with geometry to begin with, and so the snapping, either the origin or something in the geometry is wrong. And sometimes when I do the snapping, it ends up like sucking halfway into it and it's all messed up. So I hardly ever use it. I'm gonna have to be careful though, because these are I can fix that later. I remember the command for it. These are currently parented to this empty, which I believe is all of the NES games. This is the only one I've done this on. All these NES games are parented to this, so if I grab that, I can move all the NES games all at once. These should probably not be parented to that. But let's go with that. I don't want to be in this camera mode right now. Where's my camera? Camera view, cameras, active objects, camera. All right. Let's see where we're at. I render an image from this. System is out of GPU memory. Oh, that's right. That's right. I can't really stream while rendering an image. Yeah. Which is probably due to massive inefficiencies. What I've done here is very inefficient in terms of how you would build a scene normally, but it works for me. I will have to render an image after I'm offline. I may have to do this on another computer. I don't use Blender on this computer a lot. I have my computer back in my cave where I do most of my work. And the irony is that that computer is in all specs weaker, but Blender works better on it, which frustrates me. This is a 3070. That computer is a 1080. 1080 Ti. Yeah, it's got its 1080 in it, and it tends to render things pretty well. When I got this computer, I was like, oh, I can render on this computer. I can log in remotely and have it render stuff for me. but it complained a lot. I don't know why. So, all right. Well, I message here. So I am going to log off now and go eat. What's the PC specs? You know, I would have to look it up. The old PC's an i7 something, 64 gigs of RAM with a 1080 Ti storage and stuff, the normal stuff. This is AMD Ryzen, I forget which one. Also 64 gigs of RAM with a 3070, I think it's a 3070 Ti in this. Let me see here. See if I can spec this up. I have it written down. that's how like how little it means to me, how little I actually look at this stuff. And also like I am like so far out of date with what's current that anytime I have to deal with like upgrading or buying a new computer, I have to do so much research. It was a lot easier in my day when the processor still had a number on it that was like, this is this generation and this level here. You know, now it's like, I'm looking at here, AMD Ryzen 7 5800X. I couldn't tell you looking at that name, like, I couldn't say like, wow, what is that, where does that fall in with things? Where does that fall in with the scale of things? I have no idea. 1010 is quite a card. It was. I mean, I still use that computer for a lot of graphic intensive stuff, and it never gives me beef, never gives me trouble. I think it's only like some of the newest games that I try to run, I might complain about, but like, yeah, I did all of Elden Ring on that game, and I was pretty happy with it performance-wise. Rendering really strange your PC. Yeah, it depends. So like I have rendering set to use GPU. I could set it to CPU. But yeah, it takes a lot because it is. Did I lose an audio here? Let me mute this. I don't know if that's I don't know what's going on. I don't know if my stream blipped out. Stream said it's fine. The audio says fine on mine. There might be some issue. It may have been because I tried rendering and then I stopped and everything just decided to go to hell. It does consume a lot of resources. Let's see if this is still going on. Holy crap. All right, give me a second. I don't know, it seems like it's just my mic. Fortunately, like the music sounded fine. But it's all coming through the same sound device. I don't know. Something's overloaded. Okay. Well, I won't crush your eardrums. I was ending anyway, so I won't crush your eardrums anymore. I probably have to restart OBS, possibly my computer. I'll check it out. The preview is coming through fine on my end, so I don't know where the issue is. But it's not YouTube because the music's fine. Probably audio software. Yeah, it's something OBS like flipped out. Maybe filters on. Let's do one. they're not doing anything. So I'll have to restart some software. I'll try to make sure I can preview it properly, so I can make sure this works before next time. Make sure something else hasn't broken. The music is uses the same audio interface and the same software, so it's weird that it's just the mic. But something's unhappy right now. I can see right through he's becoming a cyborg. Well, I am a cyborg, so it's just breaking down. But that's gonna wrap it up for me this evening. I will get a render on this, and then you should see this the next time I stream. I don't have a schedule up, but I will try to get a schedule tomorrow sometime in the afternoon. We'll stream as many days as I am available this week. I've got some goofy PS1 survival horror. We've got The Drifter. There's a new RoboCop Rogue City, I don't know, expansion, add-on, whatever, new RoboCop adventure, and some more Star Ocean. Lots of stuff going on. So keep your eyes open for a schedule or waiting rooms or whatever I can put up. I'll try to be back as soon as I can this week and hopefully get somewhat closer back to a normal streaming schedule. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Sorry about my voice right now. I'm kind of at a loss how to get OBS to quit doing that, but going on anyway. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for chatting with me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I don't know. I'm not a great teacher. I hope you found something that was interesting or entertaining at least. Keep your eyes out for sausages sizzling on the hood of your car on a hot summer day. Probably don't eat those. We determined it's probably toxic. That's my final warning on that. Otherwise, hope you all have a great rest of your weekend and have a good start to your week. And I hope to catch you again on the next one. Until that time, so long, everybody. Bye-bye.